Well, looks like we got a broken manifold stud. We're gonna have to drill this out. Hey friends, it's Len here from 1A Auto. So today we're working on a Ford 5.4 liter 3-valve engine. I'm trying to remove the passenger side manifold over here, and what happens every single time? I broke a stud. Now, one of the first things I want to talk about before we get into actually doing any work is just the fact that you're going to be having to do some drilling. With the broken stud that's going to be located inside of your engine, we're going to have to try to drill it out with a nice small drill bit right down the center. You essentially want to start a pilot hole. The reason why you need it to be inside the center of the stud is because if you go out towards one of the edges, you could potentially drill into the engine. Essentially, if you were to drill into the engine even a little bit, if it's a little bit too far, you could go into the coolant jacket. At that point, well, you butt yourself a head for your engine, and that's a really big job. Aside from that, we're definitely going to want to make sure that we drill this out as straight as possible with the original hole that's going to be inside of there. For me personally, I have access to a nice adapter tool, and this is going to help make sure that I have everything nice and straight. This is what I'm going to use to do it, and I have a 3-valve engine, like I said. You need to, of course, first sand down the entire mating surface where your manifold's going to hit up against your engine, or at least the gasket is. Once you have it so the whole entire area is nice and smooth, we're going to continue on to putting in a couple of these manifold studs in the good existing holes. Now that we have the studs in, let's continue on by putting the plate up. You're going to notice that you have the 3-valve holes or the 2-valve holes, depending on which engine you're using. And then, of course, once you have those 2 studs lined up, this is going to be where the pilot hole is for our drill. You want to make sure that's also inside the 3-valve hole on the opposite side. Put on the nuts and hold it to the engine. So now that this is nice and secured to the engine, we're going to go ahead and get our drill bit ready. It's a good idea to make sure you coat your drill bit with a little bit of ultra thin oil. That's going to help lubricate it and keep it sharp for a long time. And then this is, of course, going to guide the drill bit in a specific direction the way that it needs to go. Of course, if you didn't use this, if you went like this a little bit, like this a little bit, or even in any direction other than the direction of the actual stud, like I said, you could cause potential damage to your engine. Okay, so our particular hole isn't actually right here out in the open. It's pretty much right here. It's the forward one behind the shock tower. So I'm gonna go ahead and move that bracket over so I can get to work. Okay, so now with our adapter up there, we're just gonna go ahead and slide our drill bit right into it. This is gonna start the pilot hole. After this, we'll remove the adapter and then start drilling a larger hole. Now what we're gonna do is go ahead and take off that adapter, and we wanna just make sure that we're in the center of the existing stud that's in there. I like to just go ahead and blow it out with a little bit of compressed air, maybe a little bit of parts cleaner. And then of course we're gonna check the depth after we make sure that we're completely centered. Before you go ahead and drill in there too much, what you wanna do is you wanna take something that you can stick inside of the hole. You can use a paper clip or whatever you got. Essentially I'm just gonna put it inside one of my known good holes, and I'm gonna measure the length of that hole. After that I just put a little piece of tape, and then I'm gonna go ahead and go to the one that I'm drilling and essentially just kind of gauge myself. I don't want to go any deeper than any of the original holes. Now let's just use our tool, and we're going to check to see just how far we went in comparison to our good holes. As you can tell, we still have quite a ways to go, but that's good because we definitely don't want to drill further than what we've got. And essentially we're only going to go approximately 1/2 to 3/4 of the depth, and then after that we'll step it up to the next drill bit size, and then after that we'll continue on with an easy out. Also, to check your depth, if you were to take a brand new stud, you're going to find that you have an area that does not have the threads. That's going to be the area that bottoms out against the engine. If you wanted to, you can just go ahead and mark your drill bit so you know the approximate depth that you need to go. That way there you don't go too far into the engine. So let's just take a look at this hole with the borescope. As you can tell, we're starting to get a nice pilot hole, and it's pretty close to the center. Now that we have our pilot hole drilled out with our smaller drill bit, it's time to step it up. When you step it up, of course, you want to measure from the very tip down to approximately 1 inch, and then I of course tape it off. That's going to make it so I don't drill too deep. Once again, we're going to continue on by using a tiny bit of motor oil. It's a good idea to keep checking it to make sure that you're going in the direction that you need to. Now that we have that drilled, let's go ahead and clean it. Let's just check our depth here. Oh yeah, that feels good. So at this point, let's continue on with an extractor. All right, so I've got my extractor started in there. I'm just gonna give it a couple taps with the hammer just to get it so it's sitting well. At this point, let's continue on by trying to remove this. The extractors are counterclockwise driven, so essentially as we turn this counterclockwise, it's hopefully gonna grab onto that existing stud that's broken in there and pull it out. As you can tell, the threads are starting to come out. This is a great sign. This means we're coming right out. There it is, friends. All right, so this is what it looks like after we get it all done. This looks great. Okay, friends, so this was a real nightmare. Not just because I had to drill out a manifold stud that was broken inside of an engine, but also because it was one of the studs that, well, I really couldn't see. As you can tell, it's kind of a pain in the butt, but it is doable. You just have to have a little bit of patience and, of course, the proper tools. Just remember, as you're drilling this, you want to make sure that you're going flush with the engine. If the engine's a little bit at an angle along the side, you need to be going at an angle like this when you're drilling. Don't go like that. As you can tell by looking at my stud, it looks like I drilled pretty well. And as soon as I got through the stud, I felt it kind of fall through, and then I stopped right away. At that point, I stepped up the drill bit, I went in about halfway, and then I used my easy out. The easy out, well, it did its job. It made it easily come out at that point. With that said, I hope you learned a little something in the video. If you did, you want to talk about it, or maybe you got something to say of your own, go ahead and leave it in the comment section below, because I always love to hear from you. If you liked the video, smash on the like button for me. It would mean the world. While you're at it, go ahead and subscribe and ring the bell. That way there you can be kept up with all of our latest content. Thanks.